The roadside cafe sat between a closed hardware store and a humming auto shop, its windows fogged from the rain outside. Inside, the smell of burnt coffee mixed with grease and damp coats. It wasn't fancy, but it was warm, and for Ethan Cole and his daughter, that was enough. Ethan pushed the door open with his shoulder, Lily's small hand tucked safely inside his rough, oil-stained palm. His back ached from 12 straight hours under car hoods, but he forced a smile when Lily looked up at him. "Daddy, can we get the pancakes today?" she asked, her voice hopeful. "If they're not too expensive," he said gently. "Then yes." Lily grinned, missing one tooth, and that smile alone made every unpaid bill worth it. They scanned the cafe. Most tables were full, truck drivers, office workers, a couple whispering in the corner. Only one table remained empty, near the window. Ethan guided Lily toward it. "Here we go." They had just sat when the door opened again. The sound was different this time. Sharp, confident, commanding. High heels struck the tiled floor like punctuation marks. Conversation faded. Heads turned. A woman entered, wrapped in an ivory coat that probably cost more than Ethan's monthly rent. Her hair was flawless, her posture unyielding. Diamonds glinted at her ears. Even without knowing her name, people felt it. Power. Vivian Cross. The billionaire investor whose face appeared on business magazines. Known for hostile takeovers, ruthless negotiations, and a rule that everyone learned quickly: never say no to Vivian Cross. She stopped mid-step when she noticed Ethan and Lily at the window table. Her eyes narrowed. She walked straight toward them. "This table is mine now," she said flatly. Ethan looked up, confused. "I'm sorry," I said, she repeated, slower, sharper, "this table is mine." "Move." The words landed like a slap. Lily stiffened beside him, her small fingers tightening around his sleeve. Ethan stood halfway. "Ma'am, we just sat down. There are other tables." "I reserved this seat," Vivian interrupted. "And I don't wait." The waitress froze behind the counter, panic flickering across her face. Everyone knew what happened to people who challenged Vivian Cross. Ethan glanced at Lily. She was tired. Her shoes were wet. Dark circles lingered under her eyes from homework done too late the night before. "No," Ethan said calmly. The word echoed louder than it should have. Vivian stared at him, disbelief flashing across her face. "No," she repeated. "My daughter needs to eat," Ethan said, his voice steady. "We won't be long." A hush swept through the cafe. "You don't know who I am," Vivian said coldly. Ethan met her gaze without blinking. "Doesn't matter who you are. Respect doesn't come with a price tag." A man dropped his fork. Someone gasped. Vivian's lips curved into a tight smile, one that had ended careers. "Interesting," she said. 5 minutes. Then you're gone." She turned sharply and sat at the next table, pulling out her phone with irritation written across every movement. Ethan exhaled slowly and sat back down. Lily looked up at him. "Daddy, are we in trouble?" she whispered. He brushed her hair back. "No, sweetheart. Eat your pancakes." But his chest was tight. They ate quietly. Ethan noticed Vivian speaking urgently into her phone, her fingers tapping impatiently on the table. Her confidence began to crack. Then the cafe door burst open. A man in a dark suit rushed inside, rain dripping from his hair. "Ms. Cross." Vivian stood immediately. "What now?" "The car won't start," the man said breathlessly. "We've tried everything. You're going to miss the acquisition meeting." Her face drained of color. "That's impossible," she snapped. "This car is brand new." "I know, but..." Vivian stormed toward the door, fury building with every step. Outside, thunder rolled. Inside the cafe, the waitress swallowed hard and glanced at Ethan. "Sir," she said hesitantly, "aren't you a mechanic?" Ethan stiffened. "Yes." Vivian turned sharply. "You." Ethan looked up. "Fix my car," she ordered. He rose slowly. "I'm eating with my daughter." Vivian's jaw clenched. "I'll pay." Ethan shook his head. "That's not the point." Lily tugged his hand. "It's okay, Daddy." Ethan hesitated, then sighed. "All right, I'll take a look." Outside, rain poured harder. The black luxury car sat gleaming under streetlights like a trapped beast. Ethan opened the hood, eyes scanning, mind sharpening. "This isn't right," he muttered. "What?" Vivian demanded. "Fuel line's been altered," he said. "Someone tampered with it." Her breath caught. "You're sure?" Ethan nodded grimly. "Someone wanted you stuck here." Silence fell. For the first time in years, Vivian Cross felt something unfamiliar. Fear. And standing in front of her, hands steady, eyes focused, was not just a mechanic. It was a man who clearly understood machines and truth. And she realized this confrontation wasn't over. It was only beginning. Rain hammered the pavement as Ethan Cole leaned deeper into the open hood of the luxury car. Water soaked his sleeves, but his focus never wavered. To him, engines spoke a language clearer than people ever had. And this one was screaming sabotage. Vivian Cross stood a few steps back, arms folded tightly, her impatience fading into something closer to unease. She checked her watch, every second slipping away meant millions at risk. Well, she snapped, though the sharpness in her voice had softened. Ethan wiped rain from his brow. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. They didn't want to destroy the engine, just delay you. Her driver swallowed. You're saying, this was intentional? Ethan nodded. Clean cut. Precise. No accident. Vivian felt a chill crawl up her spine. In her world, enemies wore smiles and suits. She had expected betrayal one day, but not like this. Can you fix it? She asked quietly. I can, Ethan replied. But I need a minute. He reached into his worn toolbox, fingers moving with practiced certainty. Lily watched from the cafe doorway, clutching her jacket tight, eyes shining with faith only a child could have. Vivian noticed her then, not as an inconvenience, but as a small anchor in a storm. You okay, sweetheart? Vivian asked awkwardly. Lily nodded. My daddy always fixes things. Something in Vivian's chest shifted. Moments later, Ethan reconnected the fuel line, adjusting a hidden sensor most mechanics would never notice. He stepped back. Try it now. The engine roared to life, smooth, powerful, perfect. The driver's mouth fell open. It's working. Vivian stared at the car, then at Ethan, as if seeing him for the first time. That system, she said slowly, is proprietary. Only the original engineers understand it. Ethan closed the hood. I helped design something similar years ago. Vivian's breath caught. You're an engineer. Was, he replied simply. Why leave? She asked. Ethan glanced at Lily, then back at Vivian. My wife got sick. Corporate deadlines didn't care. So I quit. She passed anyway. I stayed for my daughter. Silence pressed between them, heavier than the rain. Inside the cafe, Vivian did something no one had ever witnessed. She pulled out a chair. For Lily, she said gently. Please, sit. Ethan hesitated. Lily smiled and climbed onto the chair. Vivian turned to Ethan. And you, I owe you an apology. Gasps rippled through the room. This table, Vivian continued, voice steady but humble, was never mine. Ethan nodded once, accepting, not triumphant, just tired. The driver cleared his throat. Ms. Cross, the meeting. She glanced at her watch. We're late. Then she smiled. Let them wait. At the skyscraper downtown, Vivian entered the boardroom soaked but calm. When the sabotage attempt was revealed, accusations flew, until Vivian calmly exposed the insider responsible. The deal survived. Her control remained unshaken, but her mind stayed elsewhere. That evening, a call rang at Ethan's small apartment. Mr. Cole, Vivian said, I run a company that lost something important years ago, humanity. Ethan said nothing. I need someone like you, she continued. Not as an employee. As a partner. Silence stretched. For Lily, Vivian added. And for you. Weeks later, Ethan walked into a glass tower, not as a mechanic but as an innovator. Lily's laughter echoed down the hall. Vivian watched from her office, understanding finally that power wasn't about owning tables. It was about knowing when to stand, and when to step aside.